Hi, I'm Jeremy Koling of Team Prodigy, and today we're going to take a look at what's in my bag. My pro career began after I won the 2008 Amateur World Championships. That was a big deal for me. It was a goal I set for myself the year before when a close friend of mine, my best friend, Henry Childress, got 6th place in Milwaukee. I decided right then and there that I wanted to one-up him. Right after that, I became a pro, and I was playing for Discraft for a couple years. And that's when I was later sponsored by Prodigy, who I'm with now. And it has been a wild ride, and without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I do on the road. And so I am so thankful to have such a great sponsor to be able to allow me to travel the world and see places and do the things that I would otherwise not be able to do. And so the touring life is just, it's been so awesome, and I really look forward to the next couple of years of doing it. Let's get into the contents of this big, beautiful bag. Start with my putters. I have a special edition PA3 that I use for approaches, flick, and backhand. This is my favorite catch disc before the round 2. I got it from the Finns from Prodigy Europe. I saw this one, and I basically went over and I told them, this is mine now. And they weren't so happy about it, but they gave it to me, and it's been in my bag ever since. Here are my 350G PA1s. These just were put in the bag a couple weeks ago, and I love the firmness of the plastic. They're tacky, and they are basically, I've had only success switching these putters. I was putting with the special edition PA1s, and I went with these for the summertime when it's a little bit warmer. In the colder winter months, I actually like to putt with the 300. It's a little bit softer and it's tackier in the colder conditions. But as things heat up, these 350Gs are going to be really money for the summer. Up top, I also have a early 400 series PA1 that I use for overstable approaches. And here's something I actually get questioned about quite a bit. This is my knee pad. I have been using this since I got it the first time I went to Masters Cup. They gave this to me and they told me to try it out, and it has been in my bag ever since. This thing has been a lifesaver. There's just times when I don't want to put my knee down on my disc, I don't want to warp my disc, and I don't want to put my knee down on some surfaces that I don't know what's underneath me. One time I did not use this. I put my knee down on some pine straw. This is a true story. Pine straw, the softest surface known to man besides grass. And I stood up and I actually put my knee down on some glass that I didn't realize, and my knee was bleeding for 30 minutes. So I won't make that mistake again. This thing has been awesome. And another cool thing about it is it fits right inside my putter, so it doesn't take up any extra room. Up top, we have my 3 for Dale X1. This is very overstable. This is what I use for my thumbers, flick rollers, trick shots. Mostly thumbers though, because it pans super slow. I can get a lot of distance. I can go over the top of trees that are close by and still manage to go 350 to 400 feet depending on the wind and the angle of release. But this has been a very important disc in my bag. This is a 166 D1 400 series with the Deuce Squad Zebra stamp. Awesome stamp, even better disc. This thing is lightweight, so it carries, but it's overstable, so it has a nice hyzer to it. This thing has been a staple since it went in my bag a couple weeks ago, and I am very pleased with the lightweight D1s. I suggest trying them. Even for those big arms out there, just don't be deterred because of the 166 lightweight. If you feel it, you can feel in your hand sometimes if it's going to be a good disc, and don't throw a disc to the side just because it's lighter weight than what you're used to. You know, I typically throw max weight, but it is nice to have the lighter weight stuff every once in a while just for the glide purposes. And so I suggest trying that out. Pro tip of the day for you. Here's an H1 that is one of the proto test ones. It's a little bit beat in, so I really like it for little flex sidearms, backhands in the wind. This thing doesn't know what the wind is, so it's really crucial to have in the bag for shorter approaches. The longer approaches I go with the X1 or D1, but this is great for little chip shots. Here's another big germ stamp, D3 400G. Soft, long turnovers, controlled flicks. I basically throw 2 different driver molds in my bag. It's a D1 and a D3. So you'll see I have several different runs of each one. This has just been put in my bag recently, but it has a really nice long glide to it. Really looking forward to throwing this more. Here's another 400G D3. This one's slightly more beat up. This is what I will use for uphill shots, tailwind shots, rollers, stand up in the woods shots when I need to have a late turn. This thing has been really good for me. Little big germ bottom stamp, of course. It's a great addition to the bag, and that's it for the discs at the top. Pull out the drivers first. That's what most of my bag consists of right now. This is my F5 that I use for the woods, straight shots up to 320, flicks and backhands. Mostly flicks though. I really like how it is really straight right out the box, and you don't have to put much on it for it to go straight. Very good wood disc. Here's a Team D1. These are the ones that most of the guys in the team have in their bag at some point. This is what has been my favorite disc. This is the oldest driver in my bag. Very cool die, done by Koling, and this is something that it's a D1, so you expect overstable, but it has been in my bag for long enough that I can throw it for flat turnovers, sidearms. Depending on the wind, it just is something that I go to for 300 foot, 330, anywhere in that range. Very reliable driver for me, very straight. Here's for my bigger distance turnover shots. Again, it's another D1 that's been in my bag for a while. It's beat up, a little domier than the last D1 that I just showed you. I feel like I can get shots up to 400 with this one, if not further, depending on the wind, of course. But this is something I go to for tight control shots in the woods too, slight turnovers, and very, very reliable 400 series. Here's an F2. This is the Team 700 series F2, and this thing is money. This is my favorite fairway driver right now. Very straight with a nice, stable, reliable hyzer finish. Can't say enough good things about this disc. It's really been an awesome addition to our lineup. Here's another Team D1. This is one of the 3 I have in my bag. I'll just go ahead and get the other one out. I modified this one to say germ. Some people say it says Geem. I don't know. You can comment what you think it says. But this is probably the most overstable of the 3. And this is the middle. This is the straight one, whereas the other one's the understable. I love the way this plastic feels. Very nice flight for these, very controlled distance. Use them for mostly shots underneath 400 feet, but I can get these to go up to 450 if I need. Here are my orange D3s. These are my big bombers. These have a lot of carry, a lot of glide, a lot of speed, but also good stability. So if I get over on it, I can trust that the hyzer back at the end. These have been a lifesaver for me for big distance shots. Here are my 2 other D3s in my bag. Like I said, a bunch of D3s, a bunch of D1s. These are the early Proto 400 D3s. This disc particularly is probably the best roller, actually is the best roller disc I've ever thrown in my life. I can throw really hard. I can land it at about 1030, and where most rollers want to fall over towards the top flight plate and lose distance, this one stays straight. And at the end of the flight, when it typically falls off, it continues to stay straight. I think in 2 tournaments back to back, there was 4 roller holes in each course. And I used this disc to throw rollers on holes that were 600 feet plus, and I thought I couldn't throw it long. 6 times I threw it long, straight as an arrow, and I surprised myself each time. I ended up stopped being surprised by how far it went. So These D3s, if you have a lot of power, it takes a little bit of power to turn them over, but once they hit the ground and start rolling, they don't stop. And so these are also really good stand-up shots in the woods. This is the older one of the two. I'm starting to break this one in if this one ever were to get lost or somehow beat up to the point where it lost its flight characteristics. It's always nice to have a backup of something you really like in your bag, just to slowly work it in so that if something happens to it, you're ready to move on to the next one. Here's an XL D1. Something happened in the production where came out a little bit flatter than my other D1s, and it is very overstable. This is my Headwind D1, and actually I use this mostly for thumbers. The X1 is my big thumber disc, and this one I use for shorter, more approach type thumbers. Anytime you see a wide rim driver that's flat and is overstable, you're going to know that it's going to take a long time to pan, which is what gives the thumbers distance. Something that quickly turns is going to go to the ground quick, but if you can put a lot of snap on something and it slowly turns, that's how you know you get long distance if you have a lot of power. So this has been something that I've used a lot for thumbers. I go between this and the X1. Here's my F7. This is for rollers. Again, this is a really great roller disc. It's basically my bag exclusively for rollers, although I'm starting to work on woods, flip up sidearm shots. I like throwing understable things in the woods. I like to be able to face my target and not turn my back to it by throwing it back in. So this is nice to throw a little pitch up, flip up, flat shots. But like I said, mostly this is for rollers. And again, this holds a really nice straight line. It doesn't want to turn over and go right like a lot of roller discs. So it's nice and reliable for that. Another Prodigy D1, 400G. This is the disc I threw in the Memorial pretty much the whole round. This is what won me the tournament. Very reliable. From the beginning to end, it's just overstable, and I can trust it to fight the wind and give me a lot of distance at the same time. And this is the newest disc in my bag. This is the brand new H3. This is a 400G. It's slightly lightweight, it's 171, which I don't think it makes that big of a difference between 171, 175. I think it's just all personal preference. I think people get a little bit too worried about that kind of stuff, but I tried this thing out in the field and immediately I was hooked. It's overstable, but at the same time, very straight for most of the flight. I can trust it for sidearm. It feels great for backhand. I'm really looking forward to the future relationship I have with this disc and the shots that it's going to open up for me on the course. So definitely check out the H3, new from Prodigy. We just released the 400G plastic as well, so 750 is really overstable. The 400G is a little bit straighter from what I've seen so far in my practice, but they're both really good discs and they feel great in hand, so check those out. And we'll finish up with the discs with my mid-ranges. Right now I'm currently throwing mostly drivers. I've been out west where it's been a lot of open shots, a lot more wind to contest with. When you're back on the East Coast, a lot more woods. You need to throw more mid-ranges than you're on the West Coast. But right now, these are what I have in my bag. I have two 400 early run M4s. This is the original one I put in my bag that I got about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. It's been a while. I've had this disc in my bag ever since I got it, and the stamp's worn off now. Very understable, but I can pop it with hyzer and have it flip up and fly straight to late turn. Beautiful flyer. This is the same disc, except it's just a little bit more new, a little newer, and it's a little more stable. I can trust it a little bit more in the wind, but still at the same time it's very straight. Same thing, pop it with hyzer, let it flip up, fly straight. Very reliable for wood shots. This is a Team M1. This is very sought after test mid-range. This is in my bag partly for Mojo, partly for mostly for the flight, but partly Mojo. You gotta have discs in the bag that you're excited to have, just for the way it makes you feel about holding on to it. But I got my big germ stamp on here from the factory, and this is a really good for flat shots that have a nice stable finish. I mostly use it for about 350 foot mid-range and in that have a gentle fade at the end. Very reliable in the wind, and pretty good for short flick shots too. And last but not least is my 700 series M3 with my big germ maze stamp on it, and it's another just really good feeling mid-range. If I want to throw a shot similar to the M4 but a little bit more fade, this is what I go to. And it's very reliable in the wind, in the calm, good feeling in the hand, and just overall good feeling plastic. So it's something that I like for a various number of reasons, but very good disc. So that wraps it up for the discs. But the cool thing about the Prodigy bag is the amount of space that we have in it. So let's get into the other parts of the bag. The umbrella holder, which is awesome. It's concealed, it's off to the side, it's not in your way, it's not bouncing around. It's perfect. Probably the best solution for an umbrella holster that I've seen in any disc golf bag on the market. Love it, and it keeps if it is raining and you don't want to hold on to it, you can open it up and put it right over your bag. There it is. So it keeps everything dry. It's nice. It's very, very convenient. Love it. Got some inside pouches here. On this side over here, I keep my minis. This side over here, I keep important papers for tournaments, rule sheets and whatnot. So several tournaments that probably should go through and clean out, but who cares? Keep it in there for memories. This is the mini I use right now. This is a Dan Howard dyed mini. I lost one last year that I was using for a couple years, and I reached out to him and he made a couple for me, and this one I just think is so sweet. Love it. I love that I can squeeze it. Ever need to get some frustration out in the course, just, you know, it's nice. Doesn't fight back. It lets you get out a little aggression. This is a very special gift that Colin Forehand gave me a couple weeks ago in Florida. If you can't see that, it says Fancy, and it's a cat with a top hat and a monocle. This was apparently illustrated by Calvin Heimberg's little sister. Apparently she's really good at creating minis. This thing is awesome, and it brings me happiness when I'm not so happy on the course sometimes. So good to have that kind of stuff in the bag. This is something that makes me almost even happier. It's a Paige Pierce mini. Don't really need to say anything else about that. It's just awesome. Paige is wearing glasses, and she's pointing to a Live Strong bracelet. There you go, here's that. Gotta have good minis in the bag. I don't deal with crappy minis, you know, you gotta have the good stuff. Over here is where I keep most of my things that I need for quick access, my keys, my phone, my wallet, Hacky Sack, very important for when things start to get slow on the course, keep your blood flowing. I love good Hacky Sack warm up before the round. It's just always fun. Keep my chapstick up there. I don't know if that's not sanitary to keep it near your Hacky Sack, I don't know. Here's my utilitouch, which just happens to perfectly conceal my phone, which is probably the best possible case for it ever. It's just the perfect size. So shout out to Lance McLean for making the touch. Let's see what else we have in here. Oh, what is this? Oh, is that a title belt? Oh, that's a title belt. Well, you don't need to explain that. It's just when you're a champion, you have title belts with you, I guess. No, that's actually an inside joke between myself and Nate Sexton. Originally given to me by John Dunn from Indian Trail, one of my buddies from back home. He showed up to a match and he said, "If you beat me, this thing's yours." And then he fed me like a 10% beer or something like that. He tried to get me drunk so he could beat me. It didn't work out so well for him. So since then, it's kind of been a side bet between myself and Nate Sexton. Whoever wins between the two of us at a tournament gets to hold on to the belt. And the last time Nate and I played together was the Memorial, so I'll be holding on to this for a little while until I see you next time. This is mine. Good vibes. People on the course give you things sometimes, say they're good luck. This is a band that was given to me in Florida. Somebody said that good things are gonna happen, so gotta keep the good mojo around. Duos mints, you gotta love them. Tasty, makes you forget about bogeys. Do squad stickers to hand out to people on the course. Gotta have stuff like that to promote your sponsors and your buddies. Keys so I can get to the course, of course. Fruit bars, you gotta keep snacks in the bag, obviously. That's #1 pro tip, is just always gotta, long courses, long rounds, you gotta stay hydrated, you gotta have fuel in the bag, protein, energy bars, just whatever you can find. Markers, I'm very particular about the way I write my name in my disc, so I have a very particular kind of marker that gets me a nice fine tip writing, and so that's important for some people like me. Cool rocks I find on the course. I got weird stuff in here. Pencil sharpeners, trash. Of course, you gotta keep trash in your bag. That's always important. But that's pretty much it for that side. This side over here, I've got, more discs. Another overstable D1. Backup, if you come to a water hole and you don't want to lose your baby, you gotta have something in the bag that relieves you from not throwing the right disc. And this is something that I care about, I don't want to lose. I know how it flies, but at the same time I'm less attached to it than other discs, so it's always important to have discs like that for water holes. Put that over there. Gloves for when it's cold, like right now. Keep your hands warm. When the knuckles start freezing up, it's really hard to throw the shots the way you want, so gotta have the gloves in the bag always. Even in the summertime, I keep it in there just for emergencies. They weigh nothing, takes up no space. Just leave them in there. Emergency kits, Band-Aids, first aid stuff, pins, needles, stuff like that to get splinters out. You never know what's gonna happen. It's important to have that kind of stuff. Again, very lightweight, it's out of the way. Just keep it in the bag. Rule book. What else you gotta say about that? Rule book. Again, more of the, can't have enough Band-Aids, really can't. And bandages and stuff like that. I think I keep cool stuff in here too. No, sometimes I have little trinkets that I find on the course, like little tiny Spider-Man things, action figures and rocks and whatnot. I don't know, weird stuff like I said. Mio stuff to put in your water bottles if you're tired of drinking water all the time. I love water, but sometimes it's nice to mix it up with a little bit of flavor. That's it for that pocket. Here's my water bottle. Nothing special, it's the glow-in-the-dark Nalgene. Got stickers from the places I've been. Again, the mojo thing, you know, I love personalizing your bag, just putting little trinkets like these lights on the edge of your bag. Oh, it looks like the light needs to be replaced. There you go. This is something that David Wiggins, old dude, when I'm playing a course, he'll come up to my bag, squeeze the light, and he'll play a game, how long it'll be before I notice it. So it's nice to give people things to play with on your disc golf bag. But yeah, and then this right here, this little talcum bag, I don't really use this that much, but in humid conditions like Florida, it's just sometimes your hands get so clammy, you gotta have something just for emergency situations, just to keep your hands dry. So again, a lot of precautionary stuff on here in the bag, stuff that is mostly out of the way, stuff that I don't always go to, but you know, it's just like pro tips. Like usually I'll have a pair of socks in there. If it's wet outside, the morning grass, the dew gets on your socks. By the time you're ready to play around, you don't want to be slopping around in socks, so you want to make sure that you have backups. It's always important to have that kind of stuff and just think ahead. Things you'll just learn over playing courses and tournaments for a period of time. You just realize, man, I wish I would have thought about this. You know, this bag allows me to keep all that stuff in the bag at all times. And other than that, you know, I mean, I get to keep, I have enough space in the side pockets that if I want to bring pants to put over my shorts or a jacket over my shirts, there's enough space in these side pockets here that I can actually take those off, roll them up, and put them in the side. So it's nice to not just leave it on the course. But yeah, you can fit a bunch in here, and it's nice to be able to have all the space you need for you know, all the random things that you might need on the disc golf course, like rocks and Spider-Man and title belts and whatever else you have in your disc golf bag. But yeah, these are the things I like to carry with me on the course, and I'd be interested in seeing what you guys do with your personal bags whenever the Prodigy bag comes out, which is coming out soon. Be interested to see what you guys do with yours, and yeah, until then, this is Big Germ signing off with my In the Bag video, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you around. Thank you.